Hey everyone, Megan here in the Blitsy studio with Ken Oliver, who is going to show you how to create a gorgeous card using his watercolor stitch cards, along with his color burst liquid metals and his cut and color stamps and dies. Show him how it's done, Ken.
You are gonna love this card. I'm not sure if you've used liquid metals before, but liquid metals are so cool. They're like watercolor. They let you get beautiful shimmery highlights and effects in your watercolors, but it's water-based, so it's really easy to use. I'm gonna show you how to make this card by creating a watercolor wash with liquid metals, and then we'll use my cut and color stamps and die sets. I've already gone ahead and cut them out and colored them and stamped them, so we have that ready. But first I'm gonna create that beautiful watercolor background with liquid metals. To get this card started, I'm gonna paint a beautiful watercolor wash on the front of this stitch card. So to get started with that, I'm gonna wash the front of this card with water. Liquid metals is a water-based medium, and whenever you mix it with water or add water to it, it really flows very well. So you can see I'm just painting with water right now to give myself a really good base for the liquid metals to flow on and to blend on. So I'm painting about a 1/4 inch border up to the stitching. I'm leaving a 1/4 inch border all the way around the card. So now I've painted the entire front of my card with water. And while that's wet, I'm gonna add some liquid metals to this now. And it's really important when you're using liquid metals to give them a good shake. These are really shimmery, and there's a lot of little metallic pieces inside, and it's also in a suspension. So you want to shake it up really well before you use it. So I'm going to add just a few drops. Can you see that metallic shimmer? Just going to add a few drops of metallic saffron. And I'm going to add a few more drops of metallic mandarin. But make sure you shake this up really well. And just look at that shimmer. And now I'm just going to do this like I would a watercolor wash. I'm just going to wash that metallic shimmer back and forth in the water that's already on the card to create a really beautiful metallic shimmery background. And if you need to add a little more water, that's okay. I want that to blend a little bit. Rinse your brush out if you need to. And I'm going to just even up the edges a little bit. And now we'll let that dry. But can you see how that looks almost like a beautiful golden sunset? And because it's liquid metals, you get that beautiful shimmery effect. For the front of this card, I'm going to use a few pieces from my cut and color die and stamp sets. I'm going to use a daisy and a really beautiful little butterfly. And here's what the pieces look like before you. So there's a stamp and there's a die that will cut that daisy out perfectly. And I've gone ahead and colored one and got it ready. And I used color burst to do this. It's really easy. The dies and stamps were designed with coloring in mind. You can use the cut and color dies and stamps with color burst or any of your favorite coloring mediums, whether it's watercolor pencils, markers, watercolors, anything you want to do is perfect. So I'm going to use a few foam squares to attach this die cut to the front of my card. And I always tend to overdo the foam squares, so I'll try to be a little mindful of that, not to use too many. And space them out so you really give that die cut some support. This will really give embellishments on your card some added dimension. It really makes them stand out and have shadows. So I'm going to put that right about here. From the Daisy Mandala set, I've colored some butterflies. And the cool thing about this is this little die set and stamp set has so many little individual pieces that you can cut these out and use them separately. You could use this on the front of a card or a mixed media project by itself, But I realized that we've got all these beautiful little components that we can cut out and use separately. So I'm going to cut out one butterfly to use on the front of this card. And then I'm just going to trim that up so that it looks really, really crisp. And this is one of the coolest ways to get extra use out of those stamps and die sets that you have. You can use the little components for other things. So I'm going to use this little butterfly as an embellishment right there. So I'm going to give him some pop dots. I'll give him some added dimension so he looks like he's flying right off the page. And place him right about there. And then we're going to come in and place some beautiful golden sequins on this card. So I've got a little jar of golden sequins here. I'm going to tap a few out so I have them readily available. And I'm just going to put a few, little dots of glue. And you can just space these randomly so that they look like little glints of sunlight in the background of your card. And I'm using different sizes so that they're, it's just kind of interesting to use different sizes. And give that a good tap and push it in place with the end of my paintbrush. You might have your own way of using a tweezer or something like that. I happen to use the back of my paintbrush. And to finish this card, I've got a piece of twine. We'll tie a piece of twine around it. This is a really beautiful card. And you'll notice I didn't put a sentiment or any saying on the front of it. I like to make cards like that so that have them ready. And then if you need it to be a birthday card, it can be a birthday card or a happy anniversary card or a thinking of you card. And you can add that sentiment to the inside of your card. Tighten that up just a little bit. Give it a trim here to kind of shorten those. I'm going to show you one little trick here, something I love to do. I'm going to use a little dab of glue to glue my bow in place so it doesn't move around. So I've got a little bit of glue on the back of my paintbrush. Put that glue right there. And then affix that, and then that'll be in place and secure, just like that.
Wow, Ken, thank you so much for sharing such a gorgeous card with all of us. And if you want to make a card just like this, make sure you check out the products used today at Blitsy.com.